Look how far we've come, all the things we've done. Did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view. But there's nothing new, girl, you made my heart beat.
And we are back.
We are back, Bumble Bitches.
Season 3, episode 3 of the To Be Better podcast.
Good afternoon. I just want to start off by saying I love y'all's content. I found you on TikTok, and then that took me to YouTube, and now I'm a Patreon member. I'm still working my way through all the YouTube videos when I'm able to. Sorry it's so long. I tried to provide as much detail within what y'all are okay with hearing. So I am needing advice/help, and please bear with me, as this will be long, and I have ADHD, so I may be all over the place. I'm apologizing ahead of time if that happens. I am going to try my best to keep it all in order for y'all. I am 34 years old and have 4 boys and 2 bonus daughters.
6 kids. 3 away from a baseball team.
Yep. I had my youngest when I was 17, so I had to grow up fast. I am now in my second marriage. My first one ended due to cheating, lying, and any abuse that you can imagine. We were also young, and I realized we didn't get married for the right reasons at that time. I ended up going through several bad relationships after that, never knowing what true love was. I had a bad time, anxiety, PTSD, depression, and I was a single mom and had to give custody of my kids to my grandparents so that I could heal, or 2 grandparents, so I could heal and make sure that I was able to provide the best life for my kids. I worked on myself and thought I was good, got my kids back, we moved into an apartment, and I met my now husband. I fell hard, he was amazing, listened to my goals and dreams, and we loved the same things. Our communication was great, we finished each other's sentences and had the same thoughts. We dated for 2 years, and he was living with me helping with everything. I was taught as a young girl you cater to your man and don't question things, so I did. He never had to ask for anything. I always had everything taken care of. The traditional wife, but as a girlfriend. We both worked, me from home, and he had a 9 to 5. After another year, we were able to move into a fancy house we loved and got married. He got sick and was in and out of the hospital for a good year, and that sent me spiraling downhill. It was like everything I had worked so hard on myself just caved in. I started going deep into depression. I didn't want to do anything, not even have sex. I was exhausted and tired all the time. Between being at the hospital and dealing with the kids, I was forgetting things. Bills fell behind. I didn't enjoy work anymore, so I didn't put in the effort, and the house was not filthy, but it was not clean either. Due to everything getting behind, we couldn't catch up. He was out of work a lot due to his health, and I wasn't working as much, even though I worked from home.
Okay, I'm gonna pause.
Okay.
My thought process on this is probably not going to be a popular one, but I understand that once you get behind, catching up is really fucking hard to do. He can't go to work because he's not healthy. She was doing at-home work stuff, which means you know how to find a job that works from home.
Right.
There's a whole lot of things that you can do depending on your health that's job related. If you can lay in a bed with a laptop on you, you can type.
There are people in Japan who are totally disabled from the neck down, and they're still able to do working through robots in restaurants.
Right. There are ways to make it work if you really want to make it work with your finances. Mm-hmm. I am really, really against this whole I'm doing all I can while working a 30-hour work week.
Yeah.
You're not.
You're not.
You could take on multiple online jobs and fucking spend your entire day working if that's what it takes to dig your ass out of a hole. Yep. And if you're capable of working and you're only working one job and you're struggling to make ends meet, get another fucking job.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yep. Continuing on.
Yes.
We lost the house we were in and had to move into the house he had bought after his first divorce. And at that time, his parents lived there, so we had a mattress in the living room area and the kids had the bedroom, as it was just a 2-bedroom house. Things didn't get any better, and I knew they wouldn't.
What kind of illness does he have? Has he got fucking prostate cancer and have been given 6 months? Like,
I don't know.
That matters. Because there's a reality that needs to be held there, you know.
Right. Just that mindset's so negative.
Oh, I agree.
Like, even if you were terminally ill and I knew that you had a time frame, I'm not going to sit here and be pessimistic and really shitty about what my life is going to look like after you pass away. You don't want to hear that.
That's true. There's a whole lot of things that can be said about that situation, but
yeah. I also don't want to be in that mind frame, in that mindset. I don't want to confine myself to this one way of thinking and go, well, this is it. Tomorrow it's going to get shittier.
Yeah.
I don't want to live my life like that. I can understand wanting to be prepared for situations and mentally armor up.
Well, if somebody's given 6 months to live and you have 6 months to spend with them, do you want that 6 months to really mean something and be joyful? And like, do you want to have really good memories during that 6 months? Or do you want to just remember the last 6 months of their life as a really stressful, anxiety-ridden, shitty fucking time?
You amping up for the moment where they pass away, and now what?
Right.
We had too many people in one house and so much going on financially. I was trying to get us back on track, but felt overwhelmed with everything, and he started getting more angry. I ended up quitting my at-home job on the spot with no notice and no backup plan. Why?
Yeah, why would you do that?
It took months to find a new job, which was awful.
Well, that was dumb, and you shouldn't have done that. Hindsight 2020. Don't do that again.
100% idiotic.
Yeah.
I know people who do something like that, who do things like that, who quit a job on a whim because they're emotional or they don't like what's happening or X, Y, and Z with no backup plan. And here they are 2-3 years later still playing catch up.
That's because they've always had somebody to fall back on. That's rock bottom.
Yeah.
When you have nobody to depend on, you don't know where your next meal is coming from, you don't have a roof over your head, power's getting shut off, whatever the case may be, and there's literally no one there to pick you up, and it is solely dependent on you, all that shit stops. Mm-hmm. That's the putting away childish things.
Right.
You're a fucking adult now. Time to do adult shit. Yeah, working sucks. Nobody wants to do that. If we could all not have a job, 90% of the population wouldn't lift a finger.
Work. Right.
Right?
Yep.
But we need that. If you want to enjoy your life and you want to not be stressed out and you want to make sure that you got a nice place to stay and your kids have food and a clean residence and you've got transportation and all that shit, you fucking suck it up.
Right. It took months to find a new job, which was awful. We weren't catching up, just falling behind again, and he had to file bankruptcy because everything was in his name. Because the reason was not provided as to why she just up and quit her job with no plan in place whatsoever, there would be a little bit of resentment there if I were her husband. Bankruptcy fucks you up for a while. I'm talking years. His credit screwed for a while.
Well, the bankruptcy will show, depending on the way you file bankruptcy.
Which chapter?
You can normally start getting credit cards and shit again within 2 years. The bankruptcy will still show. It'll still show that you filed bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. But all the sharks that are there to try to get you to build your credit will start offering you shit because you have a clean slate.
You're also going to get high ARP rates and whatnot.
You get that now anyways, no matter what.
Yeah.
APRs are fucking stupid right now.
When he did that, they took his Mustang because we couldn't afford it, so we were down to one vehicle. Things got worse and worse. We started to argue more, and I mean screaming matches at this point.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Finances is the number one reason for divorce.
Yes, it is.
It causes every other aspect that creates the divorce. So studies show that infidelity is the second highest, but most infidelity starts because of the problems in the relationship, and that's not always, but it's in high rates led from financial.
You guys didn't have to lose everything. You could have gotten a job before you quit.
Yeah.
If you knew that you were so miserable at your job and you couldn't take it anymore and you needed something new, you should have been looking for a job this whole time.
6 kids.
6 kids. I was just thinking, I don't understand. I don't understand it. So they were living in his grandparents' house, his parents' house, somebody's home, his extended family, and they're feeding your whole family for the months that nobody was working.
Well, they got 6 kids, 2 adults, and the parents living in a 2-bedroom house.
That's 10 people.
Fuck that.
We started to argue more, and I mean screaming matches at this point. Mostly involved something to do with my children since they lived with us full time. I'm very protective over my children due to their past traumas, so I would intervene in everything he said or did with them that would cause a divide between him and the kids and him and me. It just made us pull apart more.
So you married a man that you trusted to lead your household but not discipline your kids?
Right. Undermined him. Your kids are going to get upset at him.
You're going to get upset at you.
Right. Children don't like being told no.
Yeah.
And if he tells the kids no for whatever reason, they start throwing a fit, and he is going to implement a form of discipline that's not abuse, and you are stepping in and undermining that, you're parenting from guilt and trauma.
Right. Just because.
And you're going to fuck your kids up.
Right. Just because you don't want somebody else to parent your child.
Yeah. Divorce was brought up several times when it was said one of us would leave for hours. One night, he even stayed at a hotel. I started to shut down even more, talking on my phone, constantly playing games, or I would just sit on the bed. It was wrong of me to shut everyone out and not care. I stopped the traditional wife thing. I couldn't take it anymore. I felt no one appreciated it anymore, and I know I caused that. Since the intimacy was not there and I was feeling off, I decided to go to the doctor for a test and found out I had a softball-sized cyst in my uterus, and my endometriosis was worse, along with severe anemia that required transfusions. I ended up getting a full hysterectomy, and after I was diagnosed premenopausal, so I took birth control to help with the hormones, etc. All of that didn't help with intimacy.
So you both have medical problems.
Right.
You live in a 2-bedroom house with 6 kids and his parents, and you're living on a mattress in a living room. Of course your intimacy's fucked up.
Yeah.
You said you were disconnected. You think that just going and getting a hysterectomy and getting your hormones fixed are going to fix the disconnect? That's not how that works. It can make you feel better, but that repair still has to happen.
You up and quit your job out of the blue.
Right.
Like, that's a massive life decision. And if there was no consultation there and you just up and did it, and then you were like, oh, hey, babe, by the way, I quit my job today.
No notice.
Right. Like that is a massive ripple in the marriage. Massive. I would feel so betrayed. We have discussions about everything. We talk about everything in our marriage.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And I have, wait, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. How do you think that would look if I got sick and couldn't do this anymore? And I let's say that like I got sick and couldn't go more than, say I got fucking hooked on pain pills because of it, and like I just couldn't work. This is not hard to do. I can sit in front of it and even talk even on meds. But let's say that I couldn't do this and you had to step in and be the breadwinner after I've been the one that's handled the finances, the one who set everything up in our lives and handled all of the business structures. If you had to step from being what you are right now, or even being a stay-at-home wife, to having to take care of me and running our life, would you resent me for that?
No. My time to shine, baby.
Well, I mean, so what's the difference? Because she went from being a traditional stay-at-home mom, as she put it, to having a sick husband, to quitting her fucking job, and now their life is in total disarray.
The Lord created me to be of service. And one of the greatest honors I have in my life is to be of service to my husband.
This is the hearing this email is the issue that men have with the I'm a paycheck. This is why men retire and then die afterwards. Or when they get injured at work and they can't make it anymore, they end up passing away. Like, we have to have a reason to get up every morning. And when we no longer have that reason to get up, it changes who we are fundamentally. So knowing that if I got injured to the point where I couldn't do this or I couldn't live our lives and you had to support me and take care of me, that would really fuck me up mentally. Like, the idea of you even helping me put my socks on when my back is at its worst.
You asked me to help you once.
Yeah, and I've suffered the rest of the time because it made me feel like a fucking child. I don't want to do that. I would rather go through that little bit of pain and do it myself than to can you put my shoes on for me? I understand that there are people out there who actually can't put their fucking shoes on.
Right.
I can put my shoes on. It just hurts. I'm not going to be a pussy. I'm going to put my fucking shoes on. But if this was us and we were in this situation and you started to resent me and our life fell apart and our money got fucked up because you didn't want to pick up where I stopped carrying and finish the goal or get to the finish line, like that would be really fucking hard. That would be very shitty. Like, I got to be honest. No, I don't know. I'm not going to say that on the podcast, but
it would fuck up our marriage a little bit.
There would be life.
We'd be having a lot of discussions.
Destroying implications there for me. Because if I'm going to be a burden or a dependent, I'm just going to remove myself from the mathematical equation. That's another layer to think about on what he's going through if this is a thing.
You know, there would also be conversation of swapping roles. If I'm going to be picking up slack everywhere else, I'm not going to be doing the dishes. That's going to be the last thing on my mind. I know you hate doing the dishes, babe, but I need help here because
But what if I can't?
you can't do the dishes.
What if I physically can't stand there or sit there long enough to do it?
Paper plates.
There you go. That was a really quick fucking decision. That super quick. That's how easy that is.
Yeah. Or I'm working my ass off even more to hire somebody to do all that shit for me.
Yeah. All this comes down to perspective, I guess.
Actually, it got to be so much worse, not caring for sex or any touch, period. I hate confrontation, so I'd walk away from arguments or sit in silence while he said what he has to.
So you guys don't talk.
Right. About a year ago, we started talking about moving, and it became a thing of my family versus his on who to be closer to. My grandmother passed away in December, and that hit me hard. She was my light in the darkness. She has been there through thick and thin. She even helped me detox when I was young, so me and her were close. I lost a piece of my heart and still feel guilty for not being there in person to help her through her cancer and everything.
How are you going to feel if your husband passes away from whatever's going on with his medical condition? Knowing that you guys have gone down the rabbit hole further and further and disconnected.
And you were
have
actually
been
there for him.
Right. Yep. Perspective. Somebody in the chat said, yeah, 6 kids, 1 or 2 will be old enough to do the dishes.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Kids should be doing chores anyways. Don't even fucking get me
yeah.
started on that.
Kids are sweeping and mopping their rooms at this point.
Cleaning.
Yep, they know how to
organizing.
load and unload the dishwasher. Yeah. They know how to use the air fryer and the microwave.
It's because we're raising young adults, not 40-year-old neckbeards.
Yeah. My next thing for them to learn to use is the fryer for their chicken nuggets.
That's one of those things that always needs to be monitored.
Oh, yeah. Supervision always happens. Anytime there is a hot surface being used or something that would result in a hospital visit, I'm supervising. But they get super excited to, Mommy, I just want you to watch me do it. I want you to just watch me do it.
Yeah. That's because they're showing you that they're capable.
Right.
Look how independent I'm becoming, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After this, we decided to move closer to my family because all of this and my grandfather will be all alone now. Well, we talked about this will be a new start, etc. Here we are in our new home and back in the state we both love. Nothing has changed. It's only gotten worse. He told me I have only gotten worse and he hates this new me. I told him I'm learning to love myself again as I never knew how to do that and I can't properly love him or the kids without loving me, so I need to work on that in turn. I was called a selfish bitch.
That's definitely a shitty thing to say, and I don't think that should have been said.
I agree.
But I also think that you can learn to love yourself while still taking care of your children and your man.
I agree with that. Finding new springs to fill myself with only gives more water to pour into you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not building up a dam to hoard all of this to myself to make sure that I have enough. And then I'll give you some when I have it. I'm not going to resource guard here. I also am wondering how that was presented. Because I agree, we don't call names.
Right.
We don't talk to each other this way. You quit your job with no notice and no backup plan. Was that emotional based? I view that as pretty selfish. There was no consideration there for the fact that we have 6 children or that we're living in my parents' house, grandparents' house, whomever you're living with at this point. And you didn't talk to me about it. There could be a massive resentment there. And all of this should just be compounding on top of that.
Yeah. Well, they're obviously working again.
Yeah.
Because they've got their own place now, which is good because they have their own fucking place to live versus living with other people, but there's still 6 kids in the picture.
Right.
It's hard to have intimacy when you got children. It's obviously fucking doable, but
Yes,
it takes work, not just, when it's convenient. Because it's never going to be convenient. There's 8 people living in that house.
Right.
You got to make time for it.
Kids are at school. You don't have to leave for 30 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah, run it. Absolutely.
Nana said she's dropping him off in 45 minutes. I'm going to jump in the shower and meet you in 10. Good game, bud. Let's go.
But that's just on the sexual side of things.
Right.
On the non-sexual side of things, the resentment that's built up and the free-flowing communication, the lack of free-flowing communication is an issue because she doesn't talk to him.
Right.
So there's built up
She
resentment
shuts
in
down.
her where she's shutting down and nothing's changing. It's also important to not skim over the fact that she had a hysterectomy, which means there's going to be medication for the rest of her life.
Yeah, her estrogen is fucked up for good.
That's it. And depending on how she's going about getting her estrogen to get her balance, there's spikes. And when there's too much estrogen, there's too much
Overly
emotion.
emotional.
Right. So there's going to be that ebb and flow. And that's something that he's going to have to learn to deal with. It sounds to me like neither one of them are able to have a successful communication with each other. And neither one of them have gotten over past transgressions.
Yeah. Continuing on.
I just want to also touch on the fact that I would never let somebody talk to me like that.
Oh gosh, no. No.
You can tell somebody that you don't like that they've become selfish without calling them a bitch.
Right.
There's no reason for that. I actually view that as a form of abuse.
I agree.
Okay.
I view that as a way to verbally beat somebody down into your submission. Continuing on, I have never in my life put myself first ever. So that hurt me because I am not selfish.
What happened the day that you quit your job with no notice and didn't tell anybody?
Right. Right.
You can't speak indefinite.
I'm selfish.
Everybody is to a degree.
I am selfish. I'm going to absorb all the time I can with my man. I'm going to go out of my way to spend all the time that I can with the children. If I need a 10-minute break from everybody, I'm going to walk outside for 10 minutes. I'm not going to sit here and put myself in an escalated emotional state and possibly fly off the handle or lose my temper or whatever can happen because, well, you want me here right now. No, I need 10 minutes. I'm going to walk outside for a second, let the wind play with my hair, and I'm going to come back in and be more calm.
She'll let me play with your hair. I'm much better at it. You having a little bit of sadness over there? Give me the back of your head. I got you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
While you're resetting your brain over there, that I've never been selfish. I've never put myself first. Allows her to be the victim in this entire story.
I agree with that.
And that's where that statement comes from.
Yeah.
Because you have put yourself first. Nobody has ever been completely selfless.
Right.
Well, there was one person. He got crucified for it, but that's a whole different discussion.
Have you left somewhere because you don't want to be there anymore?
Right. Selfishness.
Have you left early because you didn't want to be there anymore? Have you ended conversations because you didn't enjoy the person you were talking to?
Have you quit your job because you didn't enjoy your job?
Yeah.
With no notice. Doesn't get much more selfish than that.
Yeah.
And even if the reason is my husband didn't want me to work there anymore, the selfishness there is that you want your husband to be happy and you want to be the one to make him happy. That is a form of selfishness. You want to be the one to provide and do the thing.
Continuing on, I will go without for someone to have what they need. Well, he holds a lot of resentment because he says I played with him, that I'm a good actress, and this is why none stayed with me because I'm fake. I gave him everything and took it all away. Things are said to me that shouldn't be said to the one that you love, calling me a bitch, telling me to go back to the fuck boys I was with, telling me I have no idea what it takes to be a woman, wife, or a mother.
This is all abuse and manipulation.
100%. 100%. I don't care what this woman has done in this relationship. There is absolutely no reason for those things to be said besides to make him feel better because he's angry right now.
Right. Well, or to make her feel bad enough to stop the conversation because he knows that she shuts down and just takes it.
Yeah. Instead of standing up for herself.
Right.
She's going to be the doormat to walk on instead of being the person who stands the ground.
Yep. So in this situation, he's getting elevated. He knows that he can say these things and she's going to shut down and the conversation is going to stop. He wins. I could never imagine telling you to go back to being with somebody that wasn't me. Even if I look down on all those dudes,
So what if I did?
That's it. I'm planting that seed. Go be with those other fucking losers. I'm superior. I'm the superior man. You'll never find a man as good as me. That's all. That is actual psychological abuse.
100%.
Documented psychological abuse. There's actually books written on it. But in the event that I did that and it planted a seed in your head that you actually started fucking around with somebody, I have nobody to blame for that but me.
Oh, excuse me.
I don't want you to think about sleeping with other people or going anywhere. I want to have a conversation about what the fuck is going on so that we can fix it so that we can be happy again because happy us is fucking gangster.
Right.
I don't like this last 30 minutes. I don't want this to ruin our entire fucking day. What do you need from me, babe? Want me to hug you? Want me to apologize? You need me to grab you by the back of your head?
Yes.
Just to continue the joke, but Seriously, like, what do you need from me? I'll do whatever the fuck you need me to do right now to make this better because this doesn't feel good.
Okay. I agree with all of that.
And that's selfishness.
Yes.
Narcissism. I'm doing it because I don't like that you're upset. It doesn't make me feel good. And I'm willing to put myself out to make sure that you feel good because if you feel good, I feel good. That's
makes my life easy.
Selfishness.
Yep. I had something to say. You said something and it was really good, but I don't remember what it was. So I'm just going to say the thing that stuck in my mind. It's not a joke for me anymore. If like I'm sad or upset or something, can you just grab my hair?
I mean, I do that anyways. I don't really need a reason.
I wanted more. I remember what I was going to say.
Yeah.
This man is one day going to say, go back to your fuckboys. And she's going to say, okay, pack all of her shit. And he's going to be like, what the fuck? You're leaving me?
Right.
He's going to be the boy on the bike, taking the stick, shoving it into his own wheel. Why did they do this to me?
That's it. It's everybody else's fault.
Oh man, I'm not going to lie. I have been through that verbal berating, the same things. I've been told I'm going to ruin my children, that I'm a piece of shit mother, all of these kinds of things. Little tiny part of me gets a little, like I jump up in the air and I clack my feet together when their downfall happens, just a little bit. Because I know you are so confident in your steps that one day you're going to misstep.
That ego's a bitch.
And that tumble down that rocky mountain that you're climbing right now is going to fucking hurt. And guess what I'm going to be doing? Hoo boy, look at that shit. Pass me binoculars, babe.
World star. That's funny.
Do a flip.
The people karma will always come back to you. It may not be in this life, it may be in the next. But karma is coming, and she will always get what she fucking deserves. And you can do a whole lot of things to try to balance out so that when it comes back around, it's not so bad.
Right.
But the people who live in that constant, I'm done.
Okay.
Because that almost got very personal.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Continuing on. Since I've been listening to your podcast, I've tried to do the things Peaches said she does and working on not using my depression and anxiety as an excuse for not doing something or to tackle the day.
Can we? Yeah, go ahead. I saw the hand go. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say, well, first, I love that you phrased that in a way that has nothing to do with your husband. You phrased that sounds like self-growth. I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm going to stop doing it. I would not be doing anything for this man. I'm not taking your boots off. You're getting your dinner in a plastic cup, and if that's not enough for you, you can drive somewhere and get Taco Bell. You're lucky you didn't get shit on a plate.
You will eat the cat poop.
I ate corn just for you, babe.
There's solids in with your liquids.
Full nutrients. Treat him like Anchorman. You're going to eat that shit.
You eat the cat poop. I will not eat the cat poop. You will eat the cat poop. Okay, if I have a bite, will you give me a steak?
I'll think about it. I'm not staying in this situation.
No.
I'm not. I am reaching out to everybody that I know. Everybody that I know. Can I rent a room for you? Mm-hmm. I'll rent 2 rooms because I have a soccer ball as a family. Soccer ball team. Baseball team?
Baseball.
Football. Hut. I am really big on that's not how I imagined my marriage when I was a little girl.
Right.
I'm really big on this is not how I thought my husband would treat me when I was dreaming about my marriage. I know, I don't care. You could be, can I say butch? Is that offensive? No. All
Carrie
right.
said no.
The lesbian in the room said it's okay. You could be the most butch lesbian out there. I know damn well that at some point when you were a single-digit little girl, you were dreaming about getting married. Yes. She said yes. Case closed. We are not going to settle for misery in our lives because we are getting placated with validation and attention every once in a while. We're moving on up.
To the east side. To a deluxe apartment in the sky.
Hey.
I was going to chime in when you did, and I let you run with it. And the only thing that I'm going to say on top of what you did, because you covered a lot of what I wanted to say, stop using our podcast to justify shitty behavior from people who are abusing you to try to make the situation right. If you're being abused, that behavior is there.
Yeah.
It's going to escalate.
Yes.
The shitty name calling will eventually become
Throwing
standing
things.
over you to scare you,
Intimidating
to
you.
intimidate you. And when that stops working, then there's going to be a shove and then a punch or a slap.
And you're not fucking leaving.
Right. Because you've been conditioned to stay through all of this shit. Our podcast is not here to make your relationship better if you're being abused. It's not to make you safe from your abuser. If you're being abused, fucking leave. We don't talk to each other that way.
No, we don't.
I would not expect a woman to ever want to serve me if I was that type of man.
Right.
That's slavery. There's a fucking difference.
The only time I will ever be okay with you calling me a degrading name is to excite me.
And it does.
If there was ever a time where you said that shit in a disruption or out of frustration, I'm going to be honest, I don't know how I would react.
Yeah.
My instinct would be to walk out the front door, but I know that's an abandonment issue for you. You're going to see a whole new side of me.
You could walk out. You just got to phrase it.
Yeah.
We don't do that to each other. I'm really fucking mad right now. I'll be back in an hour.